back to all of my subscribers, and welcome if this is the first time you're joining me. My name is Odessa. I'm the Mystic Intuitive Healer. I'm a psychic medium, Reiki master, spiritual coach, and an intuitive tarot card reader. And through the work I'm doing here on YouTube, as well as Instagram, TikTok, and my own website, odessamal.com, I deliver messages to you that will help you to awaken, heal, align, and grow. So today I'm going to be looking at your star power. What makes you a star? You know, there might be things that you already know about. You know, there's skills, aptitudes that you are already showing the world, but there might be secret talents or things that you're sort of underestimating that others see as your star power, your star quality. So as always, I have 3 piles for you guys to select from. Pile number 1 is partnered with this beautiful star card, as well as green fuchsia, which is a crystal that is commonly associated with the heart chakra. It promotes compassion for others and self-love. And then pile number 2 is with this beautiful star card and lepidolite, which is connected with the third eye. And this is a crystal that helps us to increase our intuition, our psychic abilities, but it also helps us to dissipate any kind of stress or any kind of like uneasy feelings. And pile number 3 is partnered with this beautiful star card and blue kyanite, which is connected with the throat chakra. This helps you to speak your truth. So I will give you guys a second to select your pile, and I'll see you in a moment. Hi, pile number 1. So you picked the green fuchsia and you also picked this beautiful star card. So let's get into these cards and see what you have, and then I will tell you what I think your star power is. So first off, the star. Then you got stargazers. Set your sights higher. You also got Ma'at, the goddess, Egyptian goddess associated with truth. Emma Goldman. Oh, that's interesting. And versatility. And finally, free spirit. To be a free spirit is to float without walls, to fly without judgment, and to love without condition. Oh, wow. Okay, so there is a lot to unpack here. So let's start off with your star card. So when I looked at this card, there were a lot of images of old world Hollywood coming to me. So, I mean, aesthetically, I think that you have real star power. I think that you're a really beautiful person. I think that you have a classic aesthetic, or just you're classically beautiful. So this could be that you're actually interested in vintage fashion. You might use vintage makeup techniques, which are making a huge comeback, which is so exciting. You know, like our grandmothers and great grandmothers had some tricks. So you might be interested in that, but you might also be somebody who just like dresses in a way that has sort of that like really polished look. You know, you might be wearing modern clothes, but you just have that sort of air. Like if you've ever looked back at photos of your grandparents or your great grandparents, or like even other people's grandparents, like just an older generation, it doesn't matter who they are, how much money they had, or what their jobs were like. They just were like on point. Like they just like were always looking polished. Now, part of that has to do with like certain generations, like it was an event to go and have your picture taken. So like they're wearing their Sunday best. You carry that through every day. Like you just look like you are very polished, that you spend time thinking about how you're presenting yourself. There's also a real muse type quality that I'm getting from this particular card. So you might be very inspiring to others. Like they're saying ingenue to me. Wow, that's very interesting, because like an ingenue is like a young actress just starting off her career. the young ingenue, like the leading lady, she is got star power, but she's just beginning her career. And that is really coming forward. So you actually might be interested in having a career in movies or television, or wanting to have sort of a public profile to some degree. It could be like traditionally you want to be associated with an industry that has like a connection with quote unquote fame, but you might just want to be really well known within your industry, and that could be in any area. So you might want to get interested, or you might want to get into, they're saying math and science to me. And you might want to be making cutting edge breakthroughs in a particular field in math and science. You really want to be a game changer. You want to lead the charge. You want to be known. And there is something that's very inspiring about you. It's possible that you inspire people through your beauty, like a muse or an ingenue, but you could be inspiring people through your thoughts, the way you communicate. There's definitely a youthful energy, and you just radiate, you glow. There's just these rays of light sort of bouncing off of this beautiful woman. So you just have this natural radiance about you that people find really, really, really beautiful. There's a real feminine quality and a softness about this particular depiction of the star. People might have described you as very gentle or mild-mannered or just very loving and caring. But you definitely have a side of you that is fiery. This might be your natural energy. But the Emma Goldman, wow, Emma Goldman is connected with anarchy, the political belief that there should be no restrictions and governments shouldn't have ultimate authority over us. There's a real rebellion in this card. And Ma'at is the goddess of truth. Ma'at represents the feather that is placed on the scales of basically justice. When a soul is about to cross over to the afterlife, they have to go through a review where their soul is weighed against a feather. And if their soul is heavier than the feather, based on their karma, they have to reincarnate and go through lessons again on Earth. And Ma'at represents that feather. So there is a real sense that you want truth and you want justice, and you are a free spirit. You got the free spirit card, and that definitely is coming forward with this Emma Goldman, wanting to go your own way, do your own thing. I would not be surprised at all if you wanted to be an entrepreneur, or you could want to have a career where you're an artist, or you are an actor, or you're a musician, or something to that degree. Basically, not wanting to have to play, they're saying bureaucracy to me. So even if you're interested in math and science, this could very well be someone who wants to create their own startup. You want to get independently funded, and you want to run your own studies. You want to do your own work. It's you don't want to be held back. And it has a lot to do with you looking to the stars. You're looking towards the future, and you must have a strong intuition, because with this stargazer card, I definitely get the energy that you're getting messages through your intuition, right? You get downloads, you get ideas that are really they're really futuristic. They're really looking into the future and what could we be? You're an optimist, and you're looking towards making the world a better place. And I think you're looking for opportunities and a disruptor. That's definitely coming forward, because I just was told disruptor. And you really enjoy trying to find ways around problems. With the versatility card, you are very versatile and you like to sort of like see things from different perspectives is what I'm also getting from this. I think you want everyone to be able to have a seat at the table, which is absolutely beautiful. You might also be a very like active physical person. Like this person is doing like this very, very advanced like sort of yoga posture. Like it's acrobatics, really. They're on their hands and their legs are flipped up over their head. So you might be a very physical person. You might like to work out, or you might be a dancer, or you might just be a very sensual person that you just like are very in tune with your body. And like as a Reiki healer, I associate that with like really great energy flow. Like your chakras are open and you feel things deeply is the energy I'm getting. I'm getting that too from this stargazer, because this really feels like alien type energy, right? Like you might identify as being a starseed if that is something that you believe in. That, you know, it's like you're being guided by a higher force. Even if you don't believe in like spirit guides, or you don't believe in a lot of the more esoteric stuff that I talk about, it's like, you know, in your heart, and I mean, Ma'at has her hands literally over her heart, that you're being oh my God, and the star, I mean, she's holding stars up to around her throat and heart chakra area. That is beautiful. That I think your whole life you felt like you were being guided towards something bigger, and you might have had pushback. Like people might have thought you were a little odd at times, or eccentric is probably a better way of putting it. I mean, I think that you broke free of that. Like I definitely get the energy that a lot of you found your group, you found your tribe, if you will, your community. Maybe possibly in college or around like, you know, in your 20s, where you started to really explore different ways of being. You might have been really interested in politics, or, you know, you might have dived into different, you know, philosophies and started to align with people that felt the same way. Like I get the energy that you like to have deep conversations with people, because this anarchy just makes me think of people that have very, you know, extreme political beliefs. I mean, when I say extreme, it's just that it's like outside the norm. That's all I mean. I'm no judgment at all. And you are considered sort of a fringe. You're like, your ideas might be sort of on the fringe. I mean, this kind of thing, it could be like related to your spiritual beliefs, because for a lot of people, what I do is very fringe, you know, like it's very out there. So you might be something like this, like you're like so in it that it doesn't seem weird to you at all. But to others looking in, they're like, wow, that's very extreme. So I really get that, but I find it's very inspiring to other people. And going back to like your physicality and your look, this Ma'at card is really speaking to me about really having a personal style. Like, I mean, the Egyptian culture in general was very rooted in beauty and color and experimentation and ornamentation. So I think that you probably really make a statement when you dress up, like you turn heads. I definitely get that energy. For some reason, they're also talking to me a lot about a lot of jewel tones and darker colors. So you might like to really wear that kind of color palette. You might wear a lot of black, or you might wear a lot of like those deep like midnight, or like, you know, if you're looking at the colors here, it's kind of a fall color palette, but like deep, rich tones. Like that's what's coming through in every one of these cards. I mean, even here with this dark turquoise. So, yeah, that's really coming through. You might be really drawn to Egyptian culture in general. Like you might like jewelry that has sort of like Egyptian motifs on it, because I mean, even the anarchy symbol makes me think of hieroglyphs, and there's all kinds of astrological symbols that you guys can't see on this card with the stargazer. He's holding this telescope, and it has like a number of different astrological symbols. There's there's every planetary symbol on his telescope. Wow. And even here, there's like some symbolism here that looks like a sigil. So that is really cool. Let's get a couple more cards and find out about what your star quality or your star power is. Pile number 1. They're pointing out that I always get redirected back to the numerology that always comes forward. So this is card number 31, which reduces down to number 4, and that's talking about foundations. And then this is card number 3. So there is something about you being a pillar or a foundation within your community. So you might be an activist, right? You might be organizing, I mean, on a political arena. You could be on a political stage, but you could be organizing plays, right? You could be like organizing your friends to get together and do a fashion show or an art show or a book club, or you're baking together, or you're organizing a dinner party. There's something about how you're the pillar of this larger community, because 3 is talking about there being a larger group of people, like teamwork, collaboration, right? And you've played this role over many, many lifetimes, because this star card is number 17, which would reduce down to number 8, and I associate that with reincarnation. And this particular card is also it has the astrological symbol for the sun, and also has Gemini. So that's this bright shining light, but there is some duality here about you, which is what I was picking up before, where it's like you have this like calm, beautiful, loving, caring nature, but then you have this fiery side where you're like passionate about something, and you'll stand your ground, which also goes back to the number 4, having that solid foundation. That's so interesting. Okay, so what else makes pile number 1 a star? What is their star quality? Oh, interesting. Let's see. Let's get a couple more cards. What makes pile number 1 a star? What is their star quality? Okay. All right, so the first card that came out is the Ace of Materials. Then you got the 7 of Inspirations, the 5 of Emotions, the 2 of Emotions, Page of Materials, and you got the Hermit. Okay, so Ace of Materials. You are someone who is constantly starting something new in the physical world. It could be that you're like literally starting new businesses, or you could be an actor and there's like constantly new jobs, or you're a musician, so you're like playing gigs at different places or something like that. You could be an entrepreneur where you're working with a lot of different clients, or maybe you're on social media and you're constantly posting new things. You could be a real thought leader, and you're constantly like getting people to like think about things in a new way, but it's ending up getting them to manifest something new in the physical world. The energy that I get from this card is also this free-spirited energy, where I think that there's times where you like to just sort of break free of like the rigor of your regular life. Maybe you're normally living in a city, and there's times where you just want to like go and hike in the backwoods, and you just want to be totally on your own, going back to this free spirit. And I get that energy from this because this has a real like Mother Nature sort of character on it, but I get that energy from the Hermit too. There is times, and that could also go back to that Gemini energy, where there's times where you want to withdraw. You are like very gregarious and very outgoing, and then you withdraw. And I think it's times like that where you're actually doing a lot of self-care, which is what I'm getting from this 2 of Emotions card. It's like you're withdrawing because I think that you are sort of the fire that fuels the energy of the projects, and it can kind of fuel the energy of other people. And so you need to sort of withdraw so that you can start getting new ideas. And reinventing yourself is the energy I'm getting. Like, this page of materials is really speaking to me about like investing time and energy into thinking about the next step. What are you going to do next? And you also have a tendency to withdraw whenever you're feeling like you might be starting to get into sort of a funk, because this the 5 of emotions can be talking about poverty mindset or lack mindset. So this could be where you're starting to get drained by other people, or frustrated that they're not sort of seeing things at your level. Because I do get the energy that you're a little bit advanced. That's where I'm coming back to this starseed energy, where you're like simultaneously living in the future and in the present at the same time. You know, your thoughts and your ideas are from the future, but you're physically here in the present. And it can be kind of lonely, to be perfectly honest, going back to the Hermit, when other people really aren't like creating the future and thinking about things the same way that you are. And I think it's at times like that where you start to feel like your energy is going down and you're starting to feel pessimistic, that you withdraw and you have stronger boundaries. And I think that makes you a little bit mysterious and a little bit, you know, goes back to this free-spirited energy where, like, I think people really think that you are unpredictable, but in an exciting way, which also goes back to Gemini, because Gemini, I'm a Gemini rising, so I have a lot of these kinds of traits as well. All right, so I am being called to get one card from here and then a card from my little magic deck. Okay, what makes pile number 1? Oh, yes. Okay, so the Knight of Swords is the next card that you got. So you are definitely thinking about the future, moving towards the future, and you're communicating about the future. And I think that just like this Emma Goldman card, you might freak some people out at times. But honestly, that is what's going to catapult you into a place of fame and stardom. They want me to say stardom. So there is a bunch of you that actually would like to be known. And it doesn't mean that you're going to be a Kardashian or anything. Like, you know, there's lots of people that are known and respected and are quote unquote famous, but are not necessarily like a traditional celebrity. But you are challenging people to think in a new way. But like the quality that you have that is associated with this truth and justice and this pleasant sort of gentle beauty that you have, I think is, the more you lean into that, where you can find that balance between like your beautiful, compassionate nature and your drive for the truth, the more empowered you're going to be. Like, you'll eventually rise to the level where you're an empress, which is the master of all 4 suits. You know, being a master of your material wealth, which you're already really good at, as well as being an entrepreneur and a leader and being able to be very empathetic and compassionate, and then also being able to speak truth, right? You'll just have it all together and you're going in that direction. Absolutely. So let's get one final card and see what makes you guys a star. Oh, they want me to do 2. Okay. Okay. Yes! So this second card that came out is prosperity, a prosperous business with riches and success. You are definitely building something that's going to be very, very, very successful. And I get the energy that you're going to be opening up an industry, right? That is part of what is going to catapult you to this, you know, level of stardom, where you're opening up an industry, which then will help others to rise up the ranks and also be able to live out their dreams of stardom. Your industry, when you open up an industry, then there's all kinds of people that can create businesses within that industry. It's really beautiful. And you've got fairy magic. Respectfully work with the fairies, elementals to achieve your goals. This is the perfect way of describing this like ingenue energy and the free spirited energy. You're like a fairy. I'm getting like Winona Ryder vibes, you know, like early 90s Winona Ryder, you know, when she was at like the peak of her, you know, leading lady sort of position in her career, when she was like the star of like every movie that she was in. That is the energy that I'm getting from you. Wow. Yeah, you are an it girl. You're an it girl for sure. No matter, or it boy. No matter what, like, no matter how you present to the world or what you're interested in, you're one to watch. That's what I should say. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. This is fascinating. You guys just keep going at it. This is so incredible. And I forgot to mention at the beginning of this reading, I'm running a contest this month. So if you want to participate, you can win a free mini reading with me. And all you have to do to enter is to subscribe to the channel and comment on this video. And then on the first of the month, I will announce the winner on my community tab. If you would like to work with me one-on-one and have a more detailed reading, or I do spiritual coaching, I do Reiki, I do Akashic Records readings as well, past life readings, you can go to my website, odessamall.com, and you can find all of my booking information and everything there. What else did I want to say? Oh, you can also participate in the energy exchange, because when I do this reading for you, I am sharing my energy with you, and you can reciprocate by liking this video and sharing it. And I hope you guys have a fabulous day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Take care. Hi, pile number 2, welcome back. So you picked the Lepidolite, and you also picked this beautiful star card. And before we get into the other cards, I just want to mention I'm running a contest this month. You can win a free mini reading with me. All you have to do to enter is subscribe to the channel and comment on this video. Then on the first of the month, I will be announcing the winner on my community tab. So let's see what other cards you have that will help me to describe your star quality. So you have Medicine Guardian, and it says be open to healing information. That's really interesting. And there's Mercury or Hermes on this card. Then you have Athena, goddess of knowledge. Enzo Ferrari, that's cool. Friendship. And finally, Guardian. Sorry, it does not say Guardian. It says guidance. You are not alone. You are guided by masters and teachers of the highest realms. Guardian, that's interesting. So you must sort of come across to people like a guardian. They want me to say guardian angel. Wow, that's really cool. That could easily go back to this energy of Mercury, because there's this energy of masters and teachers helping watch over people, helping to guide them forward. And I mean, Athena being the goddess of knowledge, you probably come across to people like you have a lot of wisdom to share. And that could be in like a lot of different ways. Like that could be that you have a lot of wisdom to share in terms of like facts and figures, but it could be through example. I'm getting the energy that you are a very unique and interesting person. You are kind of somebody who breaks the mold. Like I'm really getting this energy from this particular star card. There's a certain aesthetic association that I have with this particular card, because this is from my Moon Baby Tarot. And the Moon Baby Tarot is like a reimagining reprint. It's like a reprint with slight modifications of the original Hoi Polloi Tarot from 1972. So it's a very vintage looking deck. It has a real 70s sort of vibe. And as a result of that, I associate this particular star card with someone who is interested in vintage, but maybe things that are sort of quirky and different, things that might potentially be considered to some to be even like strange or possibly even tacky, you know, like that won't resonate for all of you, but like you might be interested in things that other people don't like at all, or they think are really, really weird. That could be that you just take a lot of risks with your fashion, or it could be that you listen to really weird music, or like unique, I should say. When I say weird, I don't think of that as a bad thing. So don't take offense if I say weird, because I actually associate weirdness with like being cutting edge and different, and being called weird to me is never, it's not an insult at all. So I apologize if anyone associates the word weird with something negative. That's not my intention at all. I just see it as the energy of an outsider or different, or somebody who's breaking the mold. And the reason you're doing that is because I think that you have a lot of psychic abilities, especially with this star card, Mercury, as well as Athena. I mean, all of this is talking about getting messages from spirit. But these are messages that I think are guiding you towards a place of importance, is what I want to say. Glamour even. Like, I mean, weirdness in terms of glamour, I can give you an example. This is like Lady Gaga, where she is, or Madonna, or Rihanna, where they're wearing something that is way out there, really, really different, where it's so different than any other outfit that's sort of like traditional red carpet, that people at first glance might be like, is that beautiful? Am I loving this right now? Or do I think it's really, really, really weird and strange? And 9 times out of 10, the 3 individuals that I just mentioned are put on best dress lists. You know, like that they're breaking the mold, where that then becomes the definition of what is glamour. And I feel like you have that power. Like, you're probably the type of person that is either able to reinvent your look from practically nothing. Like you're the type of person that you'll go into your closet and you'll like restyle things so that it looks fresh and new, or you really might be interested in vintage, because I definitely get that energy from this particular star card. Because I mean, the 70s aesthetic that I associate with this particular card is really hot right now. It's hot in terms of like what influencers, certain influencers, I should say, the influencers I watch are wearing. And also it's a huge trend in graphic design right now. So you might be really interested in 1970s. But like I get the energy that it's like 1970s meets 1990s meets 2020, right? Because the style of the 1990s was influenced by the 1970s. And so it's like this hybrid. That's what you're interested in. It's like both of those generations now modernized for today. So you might really like vintage shopping. You might be a thrifter yourself. You might be a designer. You might be literally like crafting your own stuff. I do get that energy from some of you that either you're showing your own stuff on TikTok or possibly another social media platform, or you're watching those people that do that stuff. You know who I'm talking about. Those people that are like literally making a corset out of like an old bedspread, or they're making things out of, like, I've been seeing the most incredible stuff that's like clothing out of things that I never would have considered for materials for clothing. I saw somebody make this amazing, like, I guess it was sort of like a corset. It was like a no boning. So it was like a vest corset that they used old placemats to make. And they were like this woven placemat, and they used it to make this vest. And I was like, what is going on? This is incredible. Why didn't I think of that? You're one of those people. It could be with jewelry. You know, like you might be someone who like sees old jewelry and you buy it at thrift stores or flea markets and you break it all apart and you're making something totally different. And it doesn't necessarily mean you're making it into more jewelry. You know, like I saw this person on TikTok that took all this vintage jewelry, cut it all apart just for the beads, and they were like really ugly pieces. But the beads were pretty, and they cut it all apart, and then they took the beads and they used those to decorate these ceramic plant holders that they had made, and there was like all these dripping gorgeous beads. It was like breathtaking, gorgeous. So you might be someone who's doing something like that. And I really get this energy that you've had this sort of creative ability like your whole life, that you might have grown up in a family that really understood about style, but I feel like it's more than that. Like I feel like you were born this way, not like I'm hearing the I'm hearing the Lady Gaga song Born This Way in my mind right now. You were just born this way, and it's just been a natural ability. You're probably the kind of person that liked to make outfits for their dolls or their dogs or their cats, or like, you know, we're making cute accessories and like trading things with your friends, or like there's that kind of energy, especially with Athena. And you did get the friendship card. I get the energy that you're like showing your friends a different way of seeing the world, because there is a crane on this card, which birds in general are talking about looking at things from a higher perspective. So are angels. Here's an owl, symbol of knowledge. But these are also birds that are associated with good luck and opportunities, abundance. There's all these gorgeous blue flowers there's so many of them. That's a symbol of abundance. And then blue is associated with the throat chakra. Athena's card is also blue, talking about the throat chakra, communication. So I definitely feel like you're sharing this insight with your friends. And Athena was a goddess that was born fully grown. You know, she's like a mythological example of the idea of the old soul, where she was never a baby, she was never a child, she was just like fully born out of the sweat from Zeus's brow. So she just came out fully formed goddess, warrior goddess. And that's the energy I get from you. Like you just, even when you were little, you were already you know, an old soul, had lots of opinions, very creative. Like I just keep seeing images of like little kids like performing and dancing. You might be one of those kids that have just always like wanted to be watched, wanted to be seen. And I do get the energy that you also know about luxury, because come on, Enzo Ferrari, like he created the gold standard when it comes to luxury cars and the prestige of the automobile, like just cranking it up to the next level. And this is also a family-run business where he sort of like catapulted the business to what we consider a Ferrari now, but it was an existing business that he inherited from his family. So this might be like you come from a family of people that are very creative or very stylish or know about aesthetics. They're sharing this knowledge with you, but then to add to that, you already have this ability because you're probably an old soul. You've probably lived a lot of lives where you were involved in beauty in some way. And if you don't believe in past lives, that is totally okay. It just means that you just have an inherent talent, right? You just know things that other people don't know. Like you just understand about colors and patterns and how to mix that together. And that is not easy. You know, being able to create an outfit or a look, or, you know, you might be physically creating an object or something like that, where you're able to balance out the color and the texture and the proportions is not easy. It is something that many people spend lifetimes cultivating, and you just have it, which is amazing. So let's get some more cards and find out some more about what makes you guys stars. What is your star power? What is pile number 2, star power? What makes them a star? What makes them a star? Whew. Okay, I think that's enough. Let's get this one on the floor. Okay, so the first card that came out is the King of Pentacles. So yeah, you understand about luxury. You might actually be, when I was saying about vintage, you might actually be really interested in vintage designer clothing, like high-end. Like you might be wearing stuff that is vintage, but you know, you're wearing like vintage Alexander McQueen. You're not, I mean like original stuff, you know, like I just get that energy of, and even you might be supporting really independent designers as well. You know, like I keep getting like Isabella Blow, and like I'm getting the energy of people, and they're talking to me about Philip Tracy. You might really like hats, right? Athena is wearing a beautiful hat. Then the Muse of Materials, which is also the King of Pentacles, beautiful hat. So, I mean, the energy I get is that you don't mind taking risks with fashion, for sure. And you understand about beauty. You also got the Knight of Inspiration. So this is talking about someone who gets an idea and like charges forward. You got the Hierophant, which is again going back to that energy of being guided by a higher force, spiritual knowledge. Like you just are an ideas person. You're just like constantly getting ideas. You got the Strength card, so you don't care if other people don't get what you're interested in. You probably have had people in the past be like, why are you wearing that? Like, and try and make you feel bad for your experimentation or your courage. And now you just laugh it off. It's like that, like viral series on TikTok where people are making videos where they're like talking about their like the stuff that they're into, and basically the energy of the video is that someone told me that I'm doing too much. Well, if you're basic, then just say that, you know? Like that's the energy I'm getting from these cards, that people who are basic might have been trying to throw you off and take away your light and make you feel bad. And you're like, if you're just basic, you're basic, and you just move on. You got the Justice card, and you also got Temperance. Yeah, so you've really found balance. You really know how to balance energies. And that is going back to what I was saying before about the aesthetics and how to put colors together and how to put textures together. It has a lot to do with the energy. For many of my regular viewers, you'll know that I used to work in fashion. I worked in fashion for 20 years, and when I was a designer, and when I was designing, like I would do trend research. I would always be on top of what was going on. But when I was actually designing, it was how I felt. Like there would be a moment I would play, and then there'd just be that moment where it's like, yes, it's like the energy flow. It's very Marie Kondo, like the energy, it's like feng shui of design. Like you could feel that the energy was just right. And I feel like you're the same. You know, I feel like you'll relate to what I am talking about. You understand that balance of energy. It's like, you know, I'm like, if you watch people doing outfit of the day, you're watching them literally put the outfit together. So many times you see them like, they try this on, they take it off, they try something else on, they're feeling the energy and they're like, oh no, yes. And the other options might look good, but it's like they're waiting for that perfect balance of energy. And Justice. So you also, I think, are really inclusive of other people's aesthetics. You like to, I get the energy too that you really like to like be on that line between ugly and pretty. Ultimately, it all comes together where it's very beautiful. But like your star power is really coming forward that it has a lot to do with creation and beauty and aesthetics. Like that's all I want to talk about is how you're styling things and how you look and how you move. And it must have a lot to do with, you might be like strongly interested in exclusivity. Okay, that's interesting. You might be really interested in exclusivity, having things that are different from everyone else, that you look different and no one else will. It's like having a signature look. That's what your star power is. That's really interesting because what I wanted to say was inclusivity, but I said exclusivity. So that is really powerful. You probably come across that way. Like, I mean, with Athena, there's like this powerful goddess energy, you know, that energy, the energy of Athena, when someone that embodies that walks into a room, all eyes turn. It's just like this warrior goddess type energy. But I just keep getting this energy of a lot of experimentation with your clothing. It could be clothing though. I mean, it could be hair, it could be makeup, but avant-garde is what I want to say. Yeah, avant-garde. So you got the Four of Swords. So Four of Swords is talking about rest and recuperation, but meditation. And this particular card has this figure, this otherworldly figure, where they are, have this like gorgeous veil on. And this is making me think that you're looking for inspiration through your intuition, that you probably connect with your higher self to get ideas. Like it might be you actively meditating, but it might be that you just sort of need to go in, have your own space, go into your own mind and really like contemplate and try and like get ideas, right? And then something will hit you. And there's a lot of different ways. You might like love to spend time just in your closet, going through your clothes and trying on different things and trying things in different ways, or going over and trying new things on with friends. Like you might get together with friends and like have swap parties, that kind of energy. Like there's just something about like being in quiet meditation, but getting ideas. That's the energy I'm getting. That is really, really powerful. So let me see. Let's get a couple of final cards here about what makes you guys a star. You have a lot of strength. I mean, like you're going out and you're standing out in the crowd, like, cause I feel like you're eye catching. Like it's very like, that is the strongest energy that's coming through here about your star power, that visually people want to look at you. Now you might not feel that way, you know, like you might be listening to this and thinking, oh, but I just wear like the stuff that all of my friends are wearing. But there's something about how you embody it that makes it just stand out. And I mean, Athena has that energy. Like it's just like a confidence. And you know, Enzo Ferrari, you know, rich people, they have that energy where like, I mean, Kim K can be literally wearing like, you know, sweatpants and like sort of a stretched out t-shirt. I mean, it's probably designed to look stretched out, but she's wearing like, you know, everyday clothing, but it's just her swag. Like it's her attitude where she's like got that thing, you know, like Rihanna has that too. I bring up Rihanna all the time, but she's such a star. She has that too. You have that. So you might be wearing everything that all your friends are wearing, but there's something about how your energy embodies it, that it's like just like fireworks are going off. Like people just feel like you're different. They're not like you, is what they feel like. So what makes pile number 2 a star? All right, you've got one enchanted evening, the perfect night. Now this card always makes me think of Cinderella, right? She was the girl next door, right? Nobody paid any attention. She was just like wearing rags and cleaning up after her stepsisters. Then she gets one fancy dress and a pair of clear glass slippers, and she's that it girl, you know, like you have that. Like you just turn heads, right? Like she, of course, looked gorgeous that night, but it was something more than that, because there was other girls at the ball, right? That had fancy dresses on, that had all the right things, had the right upbringing, and were taught to move a certain way. You have that it girl factor, and you also got healing, true healing of the mind, body, and soul. And this is why you have that it factor, because you know who you are. You know who you are. You don't care if other people judge you. You don't care if they don't understand you, or they think your fashion is weird, or that you have the wrong body type, or you are interested in, experimenting and like it makes them uncomfortable. You don't care about any of that. You only care about how you feel in it. And you trust your intuition, and you allow that energy to guide you through this creative process. And it's gonna, like, literally, if you wanted to rise to another level, if you wanted to be a quote unquote star in whatever way that makes sense to you, whatever way makes you feel comfortable, you could do that. I mean, this could be like, you are a high-powered lawyer and they just brought up Serena Williams. That's a much better example. You know what I mean? Like Serena Williams changed the game when it came to like fashion on the court, right? I was gonna say like you could also be like Alexandra Ortega-Cortez. Like she is this brilliant politician, in my opinion. I'm a big fan of AOC. But she also looks like a star, right? She's always dressed impeccably. Michelle Obama. Like, come on. Like, it doesn't matter whether she's wearing, like, J. Crew or Old Navy or whether she's wearing designer stuff. There's the way she puts it together, because it's her energy. She knows that she's that girl. And you have that, too. And you could literally embody that, right? I just gave you examples of 3 different women in totally different, AOC and Michelle Obama are sort of running in the same circles, but you understand what I mean. Like, you can apply this energy to whatever you're interested in and still be that girl, right? You can be that shining star. So amazing. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. Remember what I said about the contest. If you would like to enter to win a free mini reading with me, just subscribe to the channel and comment on this video. And if you'd like a one-on-one reading with me, you can go to my website, odessamall.com. All of my booking information and everything is available there. I do Reiki, I do tarot, I do live sessions. I labeled those spiritual coaching to differentiate between the recorded tarot sessions that I do. And I do crystal healing. So you can check out all of the information there. Past lives and mediumship as well. And if you would like to participate in the energy exchange, please like and share this video. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope I see you guys in the next reading. Take care. Hi, pile number 3, welcome back. So you picked the blue kyanite. You also picked this beautiful star card. And before I get into the rest of the cards and find out what your star power is, I want to mention I'm running a contest this month. You can win a free reading with me. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel, comment on this video, and then on the 1st of the month, I will be announcing the winner on my community tab. So let's find out what makes you a star. Okay, so you got White Witch, be the light. You got Lilith, independence. Elon Musk, order. and surrender. It is, I hazard a guess that many of you guys have watched my readings before, because this energy of the disruptor definitely comes through my readings a lot. People that have a very witchy vibe. This could be that you just are like a natural manifester. I mean, witches are connected with the earth's energies, but they're connected with the earth's energies because they are masters of alchemy. Alchemy being able to use all the energy at our disposal to be able to create the outcome that we want. So you see an opportunity, you're able to use the abilities of other people that, you know, your associations, your connections, or your own skills, or the technology that's at your disposal to be able to make something happen, and then the universe helps you achieve that, right? And then Lilith is, there's various backstories for her. I have found stories where she's sort of well, she's like a primordial deity in certain religions. Some even associate her with the demons, but it's debatable for that because it depends on the language. In some cases, the word demon doesn't mean what we associate it with. She's also known as the first wife of Adam, who left the Garden of Eden. So there's various stories, but the ultimate energy of Lilith is strong, divine feminine, very warrior spirit-like energy, very independent. That's why she's the goddess of independence. Then Elon Musk comes out in my readings all the time. I have read for you guys before. He is an innovator. He is got his hands in a lot of different areas. He's looking at space. He's looking at electric cars. He's involved in PayPal. He's got a lot going on. He's got a lot that he's interested in. He's a very forward thinker. And this particular star card I associate with space. I mean, Elon Musk. I also associate it with the future because the figures within this entire deck, not just on this card, are very alien-like. This is the Dream Vision Tarot. And so the energy I'm getting from this is that you are breaking the rules, you're thinking of new innovations, and you're trying to bring something to market is what I want to say. Now that could be literally, it's a product that you're bringing to market, or it could be a concept. But you have all of the ability to organize that you need to make this a success because you got this order card. So this also has plants growing. So this is growing abundance. It's also connects back to this white witch because I always associate that with the earth. So a couple of examples I could give you that may or may not relate to what you want to do. But this is like someone who is interested in food production, and they see that there is all kinds of waste, and you could potentially be working in the food chain, you know, like the chain of food coming to market. And you see that there is a need for some sort of development where there wouldn't be as much food waste. So you produce either like an organization to help with that, or some sort of oversight, or some sort of legal policy, or some sort of device that keeps produce fresh longer, or something. You know what I mean? Like you're creating something that solves a problem that people are sort of loosely aware that we're having, but they don't know how to solve it. It could be like, you know, we recycle, right? We have all these items that are technically recyclable, but only a fraction of those items actually get recycled. Whereas there's other countries that are recycling like up to 80% of the items that they like can recycle. And there's like a failure within our recycling system that isn't taking enough action to recycle everything we possibly can. Maybe you come up with some solution to that. But those are just examples that I'm seeing based on like this connection with the earth, because the earth does need some assistance healing, right? We do produce a lot more waste and destruction than we do renewal. And so back to this plants, that could be a connection for you. It could be that you're interested in You know, you could be an engineer and you're working on, you know, a product and a new design. You could be like literally like an engineer, like creating products, but you could be like a computer science and you're a programmer or something like that, because that energy is definitely coming out. But one of the things that makes you so successful and helps you to have this star power is this surrender card, because I think you have ultimate faith that you are going to be able to make this happen. You know, some people might even consider it verging on delusional because they don't have the vision. Like, they can't see how that's going to come together. And they might be a little pessimistic because they're reminding me of some people that I know that are like, you come up with an idea and you're like, this is what I'm going to do. And then immediately they're like, but there is this regulation and there's that stipulation and there's, what are you going to do about this? They come up with like a billion reasons why it's not going to work. And it's like, you know that by manifesting that in your reality, like allowing your brain to take up space on the negatives, it's just going to create more obstacles for you. And to be a game changer, you have to like defy logic to a certain degree. You have to kind of be delusional. You have to kind of think like, yes, 100%. We're going to be able to make this happen. They're reminding me, my guides, when I say they, I'm always talking about my guides. They're reminding me of the story of the Wright brothers, right? The first people that actually patented and had a working flying machine, right? And they tried and tried and tried and tried over and over and over and over again to get a plane to actually fly and be able to like maintain altitude for a lengthy period of time. And they just kept failing, but they kept telling each other, you know, but I can see it. I know it's going to happen. I can see it in my mind's eye, us flying above the clouds. And that is the energy of manifestation. I'm getting goosebumps. You can see it in your mind and you're just fixated on that. You are going to be successful and you see the problem and you know it needs to be healed and you have the idea and it's just a matter of divine timing. It's just a matter of surrendering, but doing your part, right? With the order card, you're actively working towards this. You're going to break the mold. You're going against the grain like Lilith and like Elon Musk. I do think that you're charismatic. I do get the energy that you're able to organize people, or at least you're able to convince them that you have a good idea and that they should give you money or resources or fall in line behind you and allow you to experiment with this. Because you have a lot of wisdom. Like the owl is a symbol of knowledge. So you definitely have a lot of wisdom and you're good at organizing people and collaborating. This is card number 30, which reduces down to the number 3. That's talking about collaboration, teamwork. You might have actually studied a bunch under other reputable people, because it can also be talking about being a pupil. And the number 0 is talking about reincarnation. So if you believe in reincarnation, this could be indicating that you're bringing knowledge from past lives into this life. Number 17 reduces down to the number 8. And I also associate that with the cycles of life and reincarnation. I associate it with, like bringing in those tools, right? Bringing in those tools and applying it to this life. Then this is card number 6, which is talking about balance, balancing out all of your abilities. You know, like typically it's divine feminine and divine masculine, but what that actually means is your empathetic, intuitive nature and your action-oriented, driven nature. You know, it's both aspects of our being, you know, brought together so that you can execute something. So that is amazing. Yeah, you have like real leadership qualities. Like you could be an entrepreneur or you're the figurehead of an organization. I mean, this could be like you're an artist or you're in a band or you're managing a band or you know, creating a, you know, a festival or an event, like, but you're doing something that's different and you're leading the charge and people really believe in you. So what gives pile number 3, nope, they won't. What gives pile number 3 their star power? What makes pile number 3 a star? What makes pile number 3 a star? Okay, let's see. So yes, you are definitely a leader. You got the King of Wands. This is the entrepreneur card. You're very driven. Like, this is very Elon Musk type energy and Lilith energy. I mean, like, this is like, these two are like the Empress and the Emperor, and you also got the Empress card. Like, you are allowing your intuition to guide you. I have a feeling that you've kind of known that you were going to do something great your whole life. You probably didn't know what it was, though. It was probably just like this deep drive to be a leader, to be seen, to be heard. You might have had issues with that in the past. I mean, where other people, and I'm getting the energy that it's like older people. Like, you were younger, you had something to say. Older people were intimidated by you, and instead of dealing with that shadow energy for themselves, they would put you down like, oh yeah, you know, when I was your age, I thought that too, but I wised up, you know, that kind of thing. Like, toxic. That's what that is. That's toxic. That's their own insecurity, feeling like that you're outshining them. But, you know, like, they need to deal with that then. And you shouldn't let it roll off your back, like water off a duck's back. You got the King of Pentacles as well. So you're a master manifester. I mean, that is very clear with all of these cards. You're manifesting something that is going to be brilliant, is what they want me to say. You got the 5 of Inspiration. So this is definitely indicating that there's people that have been like battling you, arguing with you. This can be friendly competition. This can be like you are working within the same industry as others that maybe you're friends with, and you're like competing together. Like, they're showing me things like science competition, or like they're specifically showing me, I believe it's, I'm not sure if it's like Harvard or Yale, or maybe it's all of those schools where they have like battle robots, where like each school puts together and builds their own robot, and then they battle, and like obviously it's just for fun, but it's that kind of energy where it's like you're, the idea is that you're working in robotics and you're creating innovation, but it's friendly competition with your friends, and ultimately it's for this fun event where the robots are going to battle. That's what they're bringing to my mind. So it could be something like that, but it could also be people that are literally wanting to take you down. So, and you just got to rise above it. You also got 10 of Emotions. So you're going to have ultimate fulfillment and success, and I think that people can feel that in you. I think that you're a very optimistic person. You're probably really, really happy and like sort of express that joy, and through that you probably get a lot of people that want to support whatever it is that you're doing, because you don't let the naysayers rattle you, you know, like you just are a joyful person to be around. You've got the 2 of Inspirations. You're constantly looking towards the future, and this person has a telescope, which makes me think of the space energy again. So yeah, you might actually be interested in something to do with space. I mean, it could be science fiction. You could be wanting to write a book, and it is based around science fiction or the future, you know. You've got the 4 of Voices. So you are also very measured and patient when it comes to the progression. Like, you take time to think things through. This isn't, you maybe in your youth, like when you were younger, you sort of were like driven and fiery and like jumped into things before you had really thought it through. But now you really are more patient and grounded about it, because this card is talking about rest and recuperation and meditation. And then you got this 7 of Materials, which is talking about like planting seeds and like slowly cultivating things, which is so crazy because the order card is basically the same energy. You have been planting seeds. You have an idea. You most likely, if you're working in an industry that is sort of official, you have a business plan. You are actively going out looking for seed funding or backers or supporters in some capacity, and you're building. And I also get the energy that you're building, for some of you, you're building on the work of other people. So, I mean, this could be you are a researcher and you are working to, you know, prove a hypothesis that was put forward by your team or your department or your predecessors, right? Like it was before you and you're carrying that torch, which is really exciting. That's really, really powerful. I just think you have a very sharp mind, and that you, I think people get excited when they talk to you about this stuff because you're so passionate. And that, I think, is another thing that wins people over and gives you star power. Because for some of you, you might be interested in things that other people think are boring, right? Like, but it's your passion about it and how much energy you put into it that you make something that ultimately, initially they thought was boring, but they now ultimately see the beauty in it. You know what I mean? Like, this is like creating interest in something that people weren't interested in before. You know, you're leading the charge of a particular cause, possibly, which is really interesting. So what makes pile number 3 a star? Yeah, okay, so you got this 6 of Cups. So this is a card that's talking about being in tune with your inner child. It can be nostalgia, and it can also be connecting with people from the past. So this could mean that you're interested in something, or your claim to fame, if you will, is something that you've been interested in since you were young. It could also mean that you're playing on people's nostalgia, right? Like you are bringing back something and people are feeling passionate about something that they haven't seen since they were a kid, or it brings back some sort of nostalgia for them. So I'll give you an example. There's some, I can't remember what it's called now, but there are these machines that were really popular in the 1960s that have injection molds. And there's only like 5 or 6 of them that are still in operation, but there's this whole, basically you put in a coin and it does an injection mold of various different things, like a tiki head, a dinosaur. They're all like sort of 1960s like things, like a race car, but it's all like the look of it looks very vintage. And there's these people that are collecting these things and going on pilgrimages to go to, you know, a certain zoo in a certain state so they can use this machine. Like there's a cult following around it. And nobody cared about these things before. That's why they were slowly dying out until someone started this website. Now there's like all of these people that are collecting these things. I wish I could remember the name of it, but you get the idea, right? You're creating interest in something that maybe people had overlooked or completely forgotten about, and it's playing on their own nostalgia, even if it's not from their own childhood. It brings back that sense of wonder for them, and you're going to capitalize on that. And you're going to create either a lot of interest in your your product or your organization, or, you know, it could be like something that you're doing, like a cause of some kind. So you're getting them interested in your cause, which is super exciting. So let's get a couple final cards. What makes pile number 3 a star? What is their star power? What is pile number 3's star power? Okay. Okay, so you got air. Work with the element of air to cut through to the core of a situation and see the truth. Absolutely. You're able to communicate to people in such an effective way that all of a sudden they're really interested in things that maybe initially they weren't interested in, because you're cutting through to their core, like this appealing to, you know, their inner child. And I think that you are effectively communicating in a way that is non-threatening to these people. So maybe you're dealing with issues that are a little bit touchy, you know, that might be triggering to people, but you're talking about it in such a way that they're open to it because you have such love and warmth and empathy when you're communicating that. And you got fairy magic. Respectfully work with the fairies and elementals to achieve your goals. So, I mean, this goes back to this white witch because fairies are connected to the energy of the earth. So it's about manifestation, but there's sort of a trickster energy here. So you might be a little bit playful. You might be the kind of person that will do like some sort of like activation or an installation where it's a little bit, it can be maybe a little bit shocking, get some controversy going, but it gets people talking, right? It's getting people talking. I mean, to an extreme, I could talk about PETA in the beginning, in like in the 80s when they were literally going to like red carpet events and throwing buckets of paint on people's fur coats. Like that's the kind of energy I'm talking about. But it doesn't have to be that extreme. Like it could be something that's more playful, right? It all depends on what you're trying to get people to pay attention to. This could be you just being really clever with like a great campaign on social media and like you have a viral video and all of a sudden people are, you know, reacting to it. And then the final card you got is prosperity, a prosperous business with riches and success. So you automatically have this air of success around you, and that's your star power. Like people trust you. They believe in what you're doing. They lean into it, and it's because you have complete faith in what you're doing. You believe in it. You know it's going to be successful. You know it's going to make a difference. And like they can feel it in your energy. So they are following you forward and they're excited about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this reading, and if you would like to participate in the contest like I mentioned earlier, please subscribe to the channel and comment on this video. You could also participate in the energy exchange by liking and sharing this video, and if anyone's interested in having a one-on-one reading with me, you can go to my website, odessamall.com. All of my booking information is available there along with all of my services. I do tarot card readings, spiritual coaching, Reiki, crystal healing. You can find out all of the information there, and I hope I see you guys in the next reading. Take care.